I was born the son of storms, brother of the sea. There are shards of ancient stars inside my hands and feet. Old mountains know me, old stones can tell my story, and wolf and loon and sun and moon call me family. But cars and roads have shod me so I cannot feel the earth. The city's hum steals me from the cradle of my birth. And creeds loudly spoken tell me earth is not my home till I'm cut off and all but lost in this modern world. Come back, calls out the ocean. Come back, murmur the trees. Come back, whisper the blades of grass along the path. They say come back. Lay me down upon the ground beneath the countless stars. Send me wind upon my skin and rivers through my heart. Great powers around me, help me feel you and help me see that urban dreams with their machines cannot keep us apart. Come back, calls out the ocean. Come back, murmur the trees. Come back, whisper the blades of grass along the path. They say come back. Come back, calls out the ocean. Come back, echoes the breeze. Come back, whisper the blades of grass along the path. They say come back. To me. I was born the son of storms, brother of the sea.
Peter Mayer. We're so delighted to have him this morning. Good morning, and welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I'm Eric Williams. I'm joined today by Service Associate Gloria Perlstein, Tad Coriath on piano, Shelley Bernard and Debbie Larson providing tight harmonies, and Peter Mayer, our special musical guest. Reverend Lydia Ferranti Rosemary has been recovering from an appendectomy and hopes to be back to work next week. Finally, we couldn't do this without our tech team, Mary Hill, Deborah Mensch, and Karen Gricklack on Zoom host. And of course, yay! And of course, all of you who make this our beloved community. As I say the welcome words today, look around and acknowledge old friends and new faces. You are welcome here today. In all the beauties of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you make your living and the places you are from, you're welcome here. With all the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here today. No matter how long you're away, nor how soon you will return, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, you are welcome here. You're invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today.
We acknowledge that the land surrounding us is stolen territory of the Arapaho people, and that many tribes roamed freely on this land for millennia before the arrival of white settlers. We commit ourselves to being a center for spiritual exploration and justice-making, and to anti-racism and anti-oppression work within and beyond our congregation. If you're new here today, we're glad that you found us. Whether you're here in person or virtually, we hope that you can experience the warmth and love of this congregation. Every Sunday is different here, so please come back a few times to really get to know us. We have many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. And those who are here on Zoom today can check out the links in the chat to help you get connected. If you're new and here in person, you can find a newcomer form on the QR code in the back of the gray hymnal, or stop by the welcome table in our foyer to get connected. After the service, all who are here are welcome to join us for coffee and conversation in the fellowship hall, being mindful of physical distancing. And just to let you know, any service participants who are not wearing masks this morning have tested negative for COVID just this morning. And all on Zoom are invited to the virtual coffee hour after the service. Now, we love to know who is among us. So if any new visitors who are on Zoom would like to introduce themselves, please, you can do that in the chat. Please do. And if there are any visitors in the sanctuary today who would like to introduce yourselves by saying your name and where you live, please raise your hand or ask a neighbor to raise their hand, and Eric will bring you a microphone. Is there anyone who'd like to introduce themselves? Well, we're glad you're here with us today. And we would like to recognize two additional groups of people today. Veterans Day was on Friday, and we'd like to honor any veterans who are among us today. If you served in any branch of the service, whether in combat or not, please raise your hand so that we can welcome and honor you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your service, for all that you gave. And we'd like to offer this blessing to you and to all veterans. May you be proud of the courage and the commitment that you showed during your service. May you have positive memories of people you served with, relationships you established, and teams you were part of. May you forgive yourself for anything you did during the service that you may now regret. May you grieve and come to terms with any unwelcome changes, especially any losses that you suffered as a result of your service. And may you have ongoing support and love from your family, your friends, and your nation. Let it be so. And there's one more group we'd like to welcome this morning, and that is anybody who voted in Tuesday's election. So voters, give yourself a big hand. Thank you, thank you.
And we done good by that voting, by the way. All right, now we'll light our chalice. If you have a chalice at home, you can light it with me as I light our fellowship chalice. Please say the words along with me. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. And now I'll sing our bowl again to draw you deeper into the present moment and this our beloved community. And let's just listen to that sound fade. Just imagine the world living as one. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. And think how very far we are from that today. 5 days after a bruising election season, almost 2 years after a misinformed mob attacked our nation's capital, 2.5 years into a historic pandemic and a horrifying land war in Europe. Meanwhile, our climate crisis has become a fact of life.
Over 20 million people have been displaced by climate events over the past decade, mostly from developing countries and BIPOC and marginalized communities. These figures are projected to go much higher in the coming years.
We're certainly saddened by those figures. But we take heart in what our UUA President, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, has written. Quote, like living cells in a larger body, it is natural we feel the trauma of our world. So don't be afraid of the anguish you feel or the anger or fear or just grieving, because these responses arise from the depths of your caring and the truth of your interconnectedness with all beings.
A draft climate report that was published this week warns, quote, "The things Americans value most are at risk. Safe homes, healthy families, reliable public services, a sustainable economy, thriving ecosystems, and strong communities are all now endangered."
Still, Congresswoman Jody Chu, UU, and the first Chinese woman elected to Congress, Chinese American woman elected to Congress, has hope. She writes, "We know that we have the tools to decarbonize our economy and get rising temperatures under control, but we need the political will to make it happen. If our voices are united, we can make a difference."
Native American lawyer Nazune Menka describes how the West extracts natural resources in the name of capitalism. She writes, "But we cannot drink oil, nor can we eat money. We must not continue to extract, take, remove, sell, covet, own, profit, or destroy."
Native Okinawan Alice Karima Newberry also has hope. She writes, "In these existentially foreboding times, our first response to the harm and violence around us must be to build kinship with one another." Community building offers radical hope. It reminds us that despite a world filled with trauma, violence, greed, and badness of many kinds, we're able to claim immense power by knowing that there is life worth fighting for.
Alice Newberry goes on to say, "When we build resilient relationships with each other, we build networks that the system cannot destroy. When we actively choose to fight for life, we're claiming what cannot be taken from us: hope."
And that brings us to the here and now. This community, this time, our hope. Our UUA president has famously said, "This is no time for a casual faith." As true as that is today, it will become even more important as these troubled years tick by. We must be strong, we must hope, and we must act. Let us begin. Oh, let's just breathe into that. 51 years ago, John Lennon sat down at a white piano in his estate in England and composed Imagine, with those beautiful lyrics as dreamy now as they were then. When I first imagined this service, I thought maybe we could spend an hour dreaming of UU utopias, like Big Rock Candy Mountain, you know? And maybe that would be good therapy for all of us. But as Gloria and I considered it more, utopian dreaming just didn't seem reasonable anymore. Because what Lennon could not have imagined in 1971 was that over the next half century, our world would have an atmosphere choked with carbon dioxide, and climate chaos would come to darken our future prospects, making his dream more remote today than it was then, and it was quite a stretch even then. Today, I can't consider the future with any degree of optimism, and that is just the truth. But I can hope that springs from several sources, including the quotes from indigenous voices we've already heard today. My greatest hope springs from a small source, us, this fellowship, and the greater Unitarian Universalist community behind it. This hope I feel warm in my breast is not just for the next few challenging years, but far beyond that. For those of us of retirement age, we must believe that this fellowship will carry our mission onward long after our faces are gone, because love, reason, justice, and compassion will be needed more than ever as the challenges grow. Those of us now raising young children, your faces may be gone too, but recalled in the faces of your children, leading on as the decades advance and this fellowship endures. I cannot imagine a future world when our mission would be complete, our beliefs fully lived in this fallen world. There will always be room for a call to love, reason, justice, and compassion. The key thing is that we keep our faith, continue our work, and never stop loving this precious planet, our beautiful blue boat home. We said it earlier, but it's worth repeating. As Reverend Susan Frederick Gray declared after her harrowing experience in Charlottesville, this is no time for a casual faith. That phrase will become even more relevant and more important as this crisis takes its course. There will be no time for a casual faith. As the years unfurl, maybe humanity will find a way to save our planet from the worst that might come. Or maybe our fellowship will become like a monastery in medieval times, preserving our knowledge, our love, keeping it alive like a campfire, its light a faint beacon in the darkness. Either way, may our strong faith be there, tugging, guiding, leading by example into an uncertain future. And by the way, after Lennon wrote that song, he later explained that when he sang "And No Religion Too," he meant the "my God is bigger than your God" kind of religion. So I guess we're good to go. Now we have a question for you. We have a question to ask all of you, and it's not the regular Zoom chat question we usually do. This time, we'd like you to enter your answer on a new web page. Don't panic. We got this. uutalk.zone. So we can display all the answers from everybody in the sanctuary and on Zoom up on these monitors a little later in the service. Thanks to Deborah Mention's husband, Tim, for creating this page for us. He literally wrote a new app for us to do this morning. Okay. The instructions are on the slide now and in the Zoom chat. Please have your answer. And so I want you to think about this answer. This is another thing that's not like the question we usually have in the chat. I want you to sit with this for a little bit through the next song. And by the end of Gloria's reflection, type in your answer. Okay. And then later in the service, we're going to have some gorgeous music, and we'll see all our answers scrolling up on the monitors. Here's the question. You've already read it. What is the greatest hope? What is your greatest hope for this fellowship, this Center for Spiritual Exploration and Justice Making, 10 years from now? Even though that's beyond the lifespan of many of us here today, we're part of something bigger than any of us, so let's dream big.
So you're starting to think, and meanwhile, I'm going to say, each week we remind ourselves of the abundance in our lives and in this community by giving half of our plate away to those organizations that share our values. The half-plate collection today will be for HOPE, which stands for Homeless Outreach Providing Encouragement. HOPE is in Longmont. Their mission is to provide a safe and supportive place for those struggling with homelessness. They provide overnight and day shelter, safe overnight parking for those living in their vehicles, meals, showers, and outreach. The Longmont UUs support HOPE by bringing meals, food, and personal items several times a month, and by responding to emergency needs. You can text your donation to the number on the screen or the number in the Zoom chat. Or if you're at the fellowship today, you can put a donation in the offering plate as it passes. Please give generously as you so often do. And while the plate passes, we'll hear Peter Mayer again.
Peter, just one moment. I'm sorry, folks, I forgot to mention an important thing. For those of you who are not comfortable going to your web browser and typing in uutalk.zone, just signal the ushers and they will get you a 3x5 note card and a pencil, and then Deborah will enter those manually. Is that clear? Yep. Thank you. Sorry.
When I was a boy, each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face, Say it's not a testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come. Say it's not a sacrament, tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. Used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
For the work of this fellowship, bringing love, reason, compassion, and justice to this world, and for homeless outreach providing encouragement, we dedicate these offerings. Thank you.
The theme for November in our services is change. So I've been thinking about change and the many, many different types of change that we all go through almost constantly. And the thoughts that I had about change were basically philosophical, sort of academic, kind of out there, until I had an unexpected change myself on Wednesday. I was out walking. I was happy to be out and getting some exercise. It was a cool, sunny day, when my foot suddenly twisted. I fell and I broke a bone in my ankle. Now, it's a relatively small break as far as fractures go, but it's going to affect my life for at least the next 6 weeks. I'm wearing a splint. I need to rest and ice my leg often, and I need to walk slowly and carefully. If I had known that that was going to happen on Wednesday, I would have done everything I could think of to avoid it. And I realize that that is not the way that I have responded to warnings about the climate crisis. Instead, I've taken a few actions. I recycle. I contribute to some environmental action groups. But a lot of the time, I avoid thinking about the full scope of this problem because it just seems too big and too overwhelming. Instead, I've relied on climate activists and scientists and government officials to do something. And I've relied on some of you in the congregation. I've relied on people here, and I'm grateful to those people, like those on the building committee and its subcommittees, for building this beautiful new building using principles of sustainability and thinking long-term about climate. I'm also grateful to the Eco-Justice Action Group because it provides a variety of congregational programs, it has community partnerships, and has applied for certification from the UUA as a green sanctuary. And I'm delighted to be part of that. But I also have to ask myself, what more can I do? And the answer that comes to me is, and it comes reluctantly, is that it needs to hit home. I need to challenge my own resistance to and fear of facing the full scope of what's happening. I need to take in that millions of people and many other species have already been hurt or displaced or killed by climate change, and to feel the pain of that. I need to admit that my own heating and my heated and air-conditioned house, my gas-fueled car, my sprinkler system are all adding to the problem. And I need to decide how I can contribute to systemic solutions rather than leaving that to somebody else. I don't look forward to making these changes. Habit and comfort are hard to give up, but lives hang in the balance, and the time for change is now.
We are going to sing a hymn with you now. If you rise in body or spirit for number 21 in the gray hymnal. I'm sorry, 21 in the teal hymn.
I'm so sorry, it is gray.
She
Sorry to
corrected me,
confuse you.
and she was wrong. This happens a lot. No, I'm just kidding. So 21 in the gray hymnal, stand if you wish. I just wanted to say a little thing about this song. Tad asked us if we would help lead this today, and I immediately was like, oh gosh, yes, I love this song. And then it made me wonder, okay, what is it that I love about this song? Growing up in the Lutheran church, sang a lot of hymns, grew up in a musical family. My grandmothers were both organists. My mom was a music teacher and the choir director, and I just grew up singing songs. And your song, Peter, that you just sang, helped me figure out what to say right now. So many of the things I learned in church just seemed so far off to me. Fables and stories and these wonderful, water into wine? Wow, cool. What does that really mean, though? And learning this song and singing this song always made me so happy because it's so very concrete. All these wonderful things that are happening around us and that we can understand. And it just made me realize, okay, God can be about this too. My faith, my life can be about these things too. The beauty in the earth, the laughter of people, the love that we have for each other. So just wanted to share that. So I think Tad's playing this a little differently, not so straightforward and solid. So listen for his embellishments, and we're going to be singing it in a more lilting sort of way. So take it away, Tad.
And now I invite us into our time of community connection, our time of sacred sharing. Are you not hearing? I seem a little low, maybe. Okay. If you're on Zoom and you'd like to share a joy or concern, please type it into the chat window, sending it to everyone, and let us know briefly what is in your heart today. I'll read out loud what you share, and Gloria will add a stone to our sacred waters on your behalf. For those of you here in the sanctuary, you can come up to the front, share your joy or concern using the microphone, and add a stone to our waters, or you can add a stone in silence. Wherever you are, please tell us your name and where you live when you share. And please be as brief as possible since our time is limited. And for a pastoral prayer, I have this poem, Together, by Maya Sophia, an excerpt from this poem. Sometimes I have no words to describe when hope still lingers in the air. On a bright morning when we gather, our bodies tired from the trauma that clings to our skin, we are resilient, but wish we didn't have to be. And yet, the joy of being together is still there. No matter what, we are building community. As the wind moves through the branches of the trees, wiser than us, water passes by without a hesitation. A bird sings and you can feel its joy. No matter what, justice will be achieved. The pipelines will be stopped. The earth will heal. And harmony will weave into everything, because no matter what, we will still try. Now, as Tad weaves his musical spell, let's see the answers you've given to our question, what is your greatest hope for this fellowship 10 years from now? Wow. I believe we have our marching orders. That was really impressive. Now it's time for announcements, the part we all love the most. First, I wanted to say that Gloria and I were searching everywhere for material for this service, and then I found this current issue of UU World magazine on the kitchen table under yesterday's newspaper, and nearly all the quotes that we've used this morning come straight out of here. This is a killer issue, so check it out. Now, Julie McKenzie and Scott Yeomans have something to say about our bountiful Blue Boat home. Hello, guys. Tell you what, I'll go on to the next announcement because they're engrossed in some conversation. Julie. Okay, our Inquirers series, which is a 9-week series of classes covering many aspects of congregational life, continues today with a presentation by members of the Caring Council. That gathering will be right here in the middle of the sanctuary starting at 11:30. Newcomers or long-timers, all are welcome. The speakers today are Tanya Arcuso, Mazia Chatara, and Scott Nelson. Would you please stand so that others know who you are? Great. It's going to be good. Next week, Inquirers class will be about social action and community service. One more, and then we'll have Julie. The memorial for Reba Adams will be next Thursday afternoon here at the sanctuary at 1 p.m. And now Julie has something to say about our auction. It's not like we didn't give you enough time. Be close to the mic, though.
Go ahead, co-captain.
Ahoy, everybody. Hopefully you've heard about the auction that we're having. The auction starts 7 minutes ago, so you can start bidding now on the online items. And it's important to purchase your tickets if you plan on attending the in-person auction on Saturday the 19th. Julie, do you have anything else you want to add?
I just wanted to let everyone know that we have so many fantastic items, and we need fantastic people, you all, to show up on Saturday, as well as bid online. It's going to be so much fun. We have live music that Phyllis arranged for us, and we could use a few more snacks, but it is one of the most fun evenings we have every year. So please come see us in the fellowship hall, and we'll get you set up. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, one more announcement. I can see we're running a bit late. Next Sunday, November 20th, will be our annual bread service. All ages in this annual pre-Thanksgiving service will share a story about traditions and how they change and share bread at a common table. Bring a bread from your family tradition or one you'd like to start to this annual service of love and gratitude. Zoomies, have a morsel of bread with you for the service, or better yet, come down to the sanctuary and fill this place. All right, let's extinguish our chalice. We extinguish our chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. And now for our benediction. I'm afraid of nearly everything, of darkness, hunger, war, children mutilated, but most of all, I'm afraid of what I might become. Reconciled to injustice, resigned to fear and despair, lulled into a life of apathy. Unchain my hope. Make me strong. Stretch me towards the impossible that I may work for what ought to be, the hungry fed, the enslaved freed, the suffering comforted, the peace accomplished. May we carry this hope in our hearts as we begin our week. Now go forth and multiply.
Just a couple of quick words. We're going to sing together, if you'd like, Blue Boat Home. It's 1064 in the teal hymnal. And for those of you who may not be aware, this is Peter Mayer's very own composition. So, lyrics anyway. Yeah. Yes, the lyrics anyway. It's an old hymn tune, but so. And I think this might be one to go ahead and stay seated for.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Thanks. Thanks, Eric.